Tony's notification had an effect. When they learned that the Lingbo prison had changed owners and was no longer a serious threat to Earth, countries gradually abandoned their plans for a counter-invasion. Definitely. The reason for such a decisive abandonment was largely because they didn't want to fight in the first place. The decision to plan a counter-invasion was more out of helplessness, a proactive attack for self-preservation. After all, the Battle of New York had already proven the demons' strength. Conventional weapons were completely ineffective against them. Originally, humans had one last resort: nuclear bombs. But during the Ultron crisis, the super AI Skynet made a bold move, directly wiping out all of humanity's existing nuclear weapons. Therefore, when countries learned that a human had become the owner of Lingbo prison, they were overjoyed. Fight? What a joke! They had to quickly step down from their high horses. But in this world, there are always some people who refuse to step down even when given the opportunity. Like General Ross. Montana. On the rarely visited desert, there were now numerous small military camps. The temporarily established airport was filled with planes. Transport planes flew in one after another from afar, landed, unloaded their cargo, and quickly flew away. Trucks formed a long line. On the desert, a wall of sand was stirred up. General Ross stood on a temporary lookout tower, his eagle-like eyes surveying everything around him. In these scattered military camps, there were fully prepared American soldiers, from the Navy SEALs to the 101st Airborne Division, and even the cavalry. All of them were the elite of the elite. If we were to include those third-rate army soldiers, fourth-rate Marines. This place has already gathered nearly 150,000 people. A force of 150,000 troops, so what if there are demons? General Ross's gaze was as sharp as a hawk. He exuded confidence. Except for the soldiers, the equipment prepared for this battle is also terrifying. Over 100 M1A2 main battle tanks, various types of armored vehicles, and countless self-propelled artillery. In terms of the Air Force, there are F-15, F-16, F-22, and their upgraded models, such as C and D, everything you can think of. In terms of bombers, the legendary trio of B-52, B-1B, and B-2 are all present. And then there's a bunch of Apache-armed helicopters, A-10 Warthog attack aircraft, and so on and so forth. The total number of different types of aircraft adds up to thousands. Enough to launch a devastating war anywhere in the world. At least that's what General Ross believes. I have a force of 150,000 troops, countless armored vehicles, sufficient logistics, firepower coverage. And the demons on the other side don't even have long-range attack capabilities. It's all about close combat, this battle. The advantage is mine. Just as General Ross was delivering an impassioned speech in his heart, a soldier ran over. General, the Pentagon is calling. They say to cancel the operation plan. Upon hearing this news, General Ross's face instantly changed. The army has already assembled, and now they want me to retreat? General Ross's face darkened. Anyone could see the anger and unwillingness in his heart. The communication soldier reporting the news didn't even dare to breathe. Who else knows about this news? General Ross suddenly asked. No one. I received a call and immediately came to report. As soon as the words fell, General Ross grabbed the throat of the communication soldier. No. The communication soldier widened his eyes. He was horrified to find that General Ross's skin had turned red. His physique also began to grow, similar to the transformation of the Hulk, but in red. Red Hulk. Accompanied by the last thought in his mind. The communication soldier's neck was snapped. General Ross's skin color quickly returned to normal. I am Thaddeus Ross. Pass on my orders. Have Dr. Savage open the teleportation channel, and the army will move out. General Ross picked up the communicator and issued the order. The Savage he mentioned as Dr. Eric Savage, the mentor of Jane Foster, and the scientist who was captured by Loki in the Avengers Alliance to open the portal for him. Now, this unlucky old man has been captured again. The mission hasn't even changed, still opening portals for others. I've gone crazy. Why are you still capturing me? I'm really crazy, I'm not lying to you. Dr. Eric, naked, was being escorted by a group of soldiers. Although his appearance looked crazy, but in reality, Dr. Eric's mind was as clear as a mirror. He keenly sensed the crisis, so he pretended to be crazy and refused to open the door for General Ross. Bang! Until a gunshot sounded, General Ross walked over. Eric Savage. You are now conscripted for wartime. If you refuse again, you will be charged with treason. General Ross pointed his gun at Dr. Eric. Eric finally had nothing to say. But the scientist's meticulous personality made him stubbornly explain. I'll emphasize it again. The passage to hell has already been opened. But these passages are not stable enough, so what I need to do is to stabilize them for you. All I'm doing is stabilizing the passage. I didn't open it, understand? In the future, when it comes to accountability, you must not trace it back to me. Eric talked for a while. Actually, the real focus was on the last sentence. Because he had been manipulated by Loki and opened the portal, which ultimately led to the invasion of the Chitauri. When it came to holding him accountable afterwards, he almost drove Eric, this old man, to death. That's enough, Dr. Savage. This is a war that we will definitely win. No one will hold you responsible. General Ross gave Eric a final shot of adrenaline. March 8th, the battle. We will win. All right, I'll open the passage now. Helpless, Eric went to the instrument and started operating it. What he needed to do was to stabilize the fleeting dimensional passages that occurred when two dimensions collided, and turn them into a gap large enough for the army to pass through. It must be said, as a genius recognized by both Earthlings and Asgardians. This old man, Eric, indeed had some skills, under his manipulation. Soon, a Legion-level dimensional passage, several times larger than the one built when the Bifrost invaded Earth, appeared in the desert. Like a gate to the abyss, standing in front of tens of thousands of elite soldiers of America. Follow my orders, advance, inside the spirit prison. Tony Stark, who was going to hell for the first time, had a look of curiosity on his face. He was full of curiosity about everything around him. Shit. What did I see? That demon jumped directly into the lava pool. It's taking a bath. Are they still carbon-based life forms? Damn it, what kind of cell structure can withstand 1200 degrees Celsius of lava? Tony took a deep breath. He tried to accept a reality. These guys were demons, and he couldn't evaluate them with human science. F*K. Now I know why conventional weapons can't hurt them. The last battle in New York. Tony used all the weapons on his armor, but in the end, he didn't kill many demons. Now he finally understood. If they could soak in lava at thousands of degrees like a hot spring, the strength of these demons' bodies could be imagined. It was too normal for them to be immune to conventional heat weapons. I mean, can you stop being like a rookie who just went to hell, being surprised by everything? People are taking a bath, and you're staring at them like a pervert. Chu Shu glanced at Tony with disdain. If he had known, he wouldn't have brought this guy down here. He shook his head. Chu Shu continued, saying, "All right, let's talk about business. I have given orders to the demons below. If they find any humans who accidentally enter the spirit prison, they will send them back to Earth." That's right. It's not just Doctor Strange who accidentally came to the spirit prison. Currently, Chu Shu knew of hundreds of unlucky people. And this is not all. After all, the spirit prison is not small in size. There must be many unlucky people who have been transported to even more remote and secluded places. Likewise, I have also explained to the International Council your relationship with the spirit prison. Various countries have successively cancelled their war preparations. Since learning yesterday that Chu Shu is the lord of the Lingbo prison, Tony immediately rushed to the United Nations. Busy with various tasks, afraid of being one step behind. In the end, it resulted in a meaningless conflict. The more he thought about it, the more Tony felt scared. If a misunderstanding pushed Chu Shu to the opposite side of humanity, the consequences. It's a good thing I came to find you, otherwise if they started fighting. Tony didn't finish his sentence. Boom. A loud noise suddenly appeared. Chu Shu frowned and looked in the direction of the sound. At the end of the horizon of the Lingbo prison, a huge portal suddenly appeared. Tanks lined up and emerged from the portal, followed by armored vehicles, helicopters, and densely packed America soldiers like ants. This. Tony widened his eyes, rubbing his eyes, thinking he was seeing things. 1 second you said we wouldn't fight. The next second tanks are in our faces. Tony, you played this tactical deception well. Chu Shu turned his head and jokingly looked at Tony. I really didn't deceive you, Chu Shu. I don't know what's going on. Tony was sweating profusely, possibly due to the heat, as the temperature in Lingbo prison was indeed not low. Never mind. It's too late to say anything now. I'll go see who is commanding this army and see if I can stop them. Tony finished speaking, closing the face mask of his armored helmet. Then, at the fastest speed, he flew towards the distant army. Hey, just kidding, look at how anxious this foolish kid is. Chu Shu remained calm behind. He knew Tony wasn't lying. At the United Nations, Tony must have really done a lot of work. The cancellation of war plans by various countries should also be true. However, in this world, there will always be a few troublemakers. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Move. Establish a multi-layered defense zone centered around the portal. Send out reconnaissance drones. Quickly determine the surrounding situation. Full military alert. Eliminate any approaching life forms. Near the teleportation channel, General Ross took the lead and was the first to pass through the portal. He calmly commanded the vanguard forces and gained control over the area near the portal. Then, more soldiers, tanks, armored vehicles, and even armed helicopters emerged from the channel one after another. Like an iron flood, they quickly spread out. Tony, wearing a steel battlesuit, descended from the sky. The armor surface was covered with scratches, obviously having been attacked by anti-aircraft weapons just now. Ross? Are you crazy? Didn't you receive the ceasefire message? Who authorized you to launch the attack? Tony opened his face mask. He angrily vented his frustrations towards General Ross. Stark? Why are you here? Seeing Iron Man, General Ross was equally shocked. Don't change the subject, you bastard. I'm asking you, who authorized you to launch the attack? Don't you know there's a ceasefire? Don't you know that the Lord of the Spirit Prison is also human? Tony was furious. He had never been so angry at someone before. He wanted to curse the other person's ancestors for 8 generations. He had been to the United Nations multiple times. Busy before and after. Finally, this conflict was avoided with great difficulty. However, Ross's actions undoubtedly rendered all his efforts in vain. Who provoked the attack? It was the people of America. It was freedom. It was the Lord of the Underworld. Faced with Tony's questioning, General Ross couldn't hide his embarrassment, especially with so many soldiers watching. So, following convention, he delivered a grandiose speech. What uranium? What Lord of the Underworld? Bullshit. You're only satisfying your own ambitions. Tony certainly wouldn't be fooled by Ross's grandiose speech. For the Lord of the Underworld, for freedom. Yeah. But the brainwashed soldiers around them were different. After listening to General Ross's speech, they were all like they had been injected with chicken blood. They howled and charged forward. General Ross looked on with satisfaction, his eyes full of ambition, like an eagle. The first human general to conquer Otherworld. This capital was enough to secure any position in America. Tony Stark, you are suspected of treason and crimes against humanity. I advise you to surrender. General Ross gave the order. The surrounding soldiers aimed their guns at Tony one after another. Damn it. You've truly gone mad, Tony cursed. He quickly activated the flight system. Escaping from the encirclement of the crowd, he flew back in the direction he came from. Fire. Take him down. Tony Stark is a traitor to humanity. General Ross's angry roar came from behind. At the same time, the thunderous sound of various anti-aircraft weapons firing accompanied it. Boom boom boom. Tony dodged back and forth in the air. Anti-aircraft guns and surface-to-air missiles exploded nearby. They left him in a sorry state. When he returned to Chu Shu's side, Tony's steel battlesuit was black and white. Conventional weapons couldn't penetrate his mark armor. But the coating on the battlesuit was completely gone. How does it feel to be chased and beaten? Chu Shu gloated on the side. Tony was basically being bombed all the way back by anti-aircraft weapons, so it was not wrong to say he was being chased and beaten. Not good. Why aren't you concerned at all? They invaded your world, your territory. Tony opened his face mask and asked angrily. Being chased and bombed was one thing. But when he came back and saw the person involved gloating on the side as if nothing had happened, the stark contrast reminded Tony of an Eastern saying. The emperor is not in a hurry, but the eunuch is. It's like this, Tony. Imagine a 3-year-old ordinary baby coming to challenge you barehanded. And you were still wearing the anti-Hulk armor at the time. In this situation, would you panic? Chu Shu asked in return. Lie? Labor and management not only wouldn't panic. They would even want to bring a small stool and see what storms this little brat could stir up. I understand what you mean, Chu Shu. I know these weapons can't threaten Lingbo prison, let alone you. But what I want to say is that this is Ross's personal action. Countries are really. Tony wanted to continue speaking. But Chu Shu waved his hand indifferently. Tony, there's a saying that goes, the best weapon in the world only needs to be fired once. By the way, was it your father Howard who said that, or was it you? Anyway, you definitely understand the meaning. Tony fell silent. He understood this saying better than anyone. And he naturally knew what it meant to say it. I can't just watch this happen. Help me open a teleportation portal and send me back to Earth. When Tony said the first sentence, Chu Shu thought he was going to stop him. But then this guy came up with the second sentence. Open a teleportation portal to send him away. Why are you looking at me like that? Do you think I'm stupid? I can't beat you, and I can't persuade you. Why should I stay here and embarrass myself? Tony sighed. He knew that when Chu Shu said that sentence, General Ross and the fate of these soldiers were already sealed. But what could Tony Stark do? He couldn't change anything. What's more important is, I don't want to be your enemy. Whether it's for the sake of all humanity or for myself. Tony said very seriously. But Chu Shu only replied with 2 words after listening. Idiot. Then he opened the teleportation portal. And kicked Tony in. Somebody came knocking on the door. I was just defending myself. You make it sound like I've become the big villain against humanity. After Chu Shu finished speaking, his gaze fell in the direction where General Ross was. They had already started fighting over there. Gunshots, explosions, incessant. What are they fighting for? Chu Shu took a closer look. He found that General Ross's army was engaged in a fierce battle with some low-level demons. It's not surprising, after all, a suddenly appearing human army of tens of thousands in scale would definitely attract the attention of the surrounding low-level demons. Why are these humans fighting us? I don't know. Because of Chu Shu's command, the initial idea of these low-level demons was to get close and see if these humans accidentally stumbled into the spirit-thin prison. But as they approached, General Ross's army began to bombard and attack wildly. For this invasion, General Ross was indeed well prepared. All weapons and equipment have been loaded with armor-piercing ammunition. Even the rifles in the soldiers' hands are using tungsten core armor-piercing rounds. Others, like sonic cannons, laser weapons, electromagnetic railguns, and so on, everything you can think of. I'm using the same specifications to deal with you demons as I did with the Green Giant. I don't believe I can't kill you. A barrage of firepower came down. Several low-level demons were shot to pieces. General Ross's face also showed a smile, just as expected. Demons? Nothing more than that. In front of the 25mm depleted uranium armor-piercing rounds of the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. All beings are equal. Commander. The images from the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft have been transmitted. Very good. The armored units will advance immediately. Eliminate every hell creature you encounter. We are now the messengers of God. We fight for justice. General Ross did not know that the few low-level demons he had just killed were the weakest. The first battle was a success. General Ross began to command the armored units to advance straight ahead. Images from the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft showed that there was a fairly large demon settlement several tens of kilometers ahead. There were at least tens of thousands of demons inside. General Ross ordered the armored units to flank from both sides in a pincer attack. The armed helicopter formations took off immediately. Advance on 3 fronts. Prepare to annihilate these tens of thousands of hell demons in one fell swoop. Boom. However, before General Ross's armored units could take action, suddenly, there was a tremor, as if the entire spirit prison was shaking. What's happening? General, the epicenter is coming from the 11 o'clock direction. Quickly deploy the drones over there. Not good. All drones offline. While General Ross was communicating with his subordinates, the ground shook even more severely. It seemed as if thousands of troops were rushing towards them. And indeed. What? Lord Satan wants us to eliminate an invading human army. Wait a minute? We are being invaded by humans. When Nastier received this message, he thought he had misheard. Come on, we are demons. You guys are the humans. Shouldn't the normal script be us invading your world? Why has it turned around now? Although Nastier didn't understand what had happened. Who cares? Lord Satan has commanded. Let us eliminate these daring invading humans. Nastier, with a human body and a horse's face, spread his wings, wielding a demonic trident, and charged at the forefront of the team. Kill. Soul offerings delivered to our doorstep. Seize them. The other demons also followed suit, howling and rushing forward. Filled with killing intent. Those who could fly spread their wings and soared in the sky. Those who couldn't fly ran on the ground without stopping, wishing they had 2 more legs. Afraid of running too slowly. Afraid they wouldn't be able to seize any souls. Meanwhile, in a place further from General Ross's invasion point, the sky was filled with large goose feather-like snowflakes. Frost covered the ground. Pale Nigelfa had already revealed her true form. Gila was commanding her army of undead and soul warriors as they boarded the deck. Command received. Let us give Earth a little taste of Hell's shocking 7. 3 o'clock direction. Detected organized demon army. Approximately 5,000 in number, advancing towards us. The enemy is fast, with a large number of flight units. Notify artillery and missile units to conduct indiscriminate bombing in the target area. Continue deploying unmanned reconnaissance aircraft for bombing guidance. Sir. The unmanned reconnaissance aircraft has been shot down again. unable to provide precise bombing guidance. Then forget about precision, cover them with firepower. Our ammunition is sufficient. Boom 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 boom. The sound of explosions continued, when the demon army led by Nastier appeared. General Ross finally felt a hint of the demon's threat. But it was only a hint. No need to worry. It's just 5,000 demons. I estimate they won't even survive our first round of bombing. General Ross was very confident in his command. Although during the Ultron crisis, all nuclear weapons were wiped out by Skynet in one fell swoop. Even without nuclear weapons, General Ross could still find other alternatives, 730 of them. Such as cloud-burst bombs, napalm bombs, cluster bombs, white phosphorus bombs. Especially white phosphorus bombs, also known as the fire of hell. General Ross's favorite weapon. After being dropped on a large scale from the air, it would create a magnificent rain of falling fire. Like iron trees and silver flowers falling, it may look beautiful, but it is extremely lethal. Because the high temperature of white phosphorus burning can reach 1000 degrees Celsius. Within its burning range, almost no living creature can escape. Once the body comes into contact with a bit of white phosphorus, it will continue to burn until it reaches the bone, causing extreme pain but with no way to stop it. Hee. I don't believe these demons can't be burned to death by a rain of fire at 1000 degrees Celsius. General Ross gazed into the distance. One by one, shells, rockets, and missiles whistled through the air from behind him. They traced arcs and landed on the distant battlefield. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of explosions never ceased. The ground shook even more violently than before. The Vulture Squadron has reached the designated location. Continue bombing the targets. Armed helicopters coming from the other side of the portal also joined the battle. They hovered in the air, their bellies loaded with rocket pods, flying towards the distance one by one. This density of firepower. If it were on Earth, it would be enough to turn a medium-sized city into ruins. Plow the ground several times. Blow up all the worms in the soil, along with their dozen or so family members. Even in hell, the effect of this intensive bombing also looks terrifying. The location they are in has turned into a sea of fire. Looking around, nothing can be seen. Haha. Go to hell, demons. John, we are already in hell. Oh right, I forgot. Then how should I say it? Go to hell, demons. That's right. Go to hell, demons. The soldiers of America looked at the distant explosions, all with smiles on their faces. Because they could eliminate the enemy with just the bombing. They didn't need to go into action. They didn't need to do anything. They just won a war, and went back to receive their well-deserved medals. One word, comfortable. We are truly fortunate to be able to follow General Ross, a soldier sighed as he watched the general's figure disappear. Following you is our blessing. But soon enough, these soldiers wouldn't be able to laugh anymore. What are these humans doing? I don't know. But these things feel quite comfortable on us. Cool and refreshing, just like the snowflakes we saw last time. Leading the charge were Nashiter and his group of flight demons. They were the first to break through the sea of fire. The white phosphorus shells that General Ross was proud of turned into cool and refreshing things, just like snowflakes, in their mouths. It's not surprising, after all. These demons bathe in magma pools at 1200 A. A mere 1000-degree white phosphorus shell. It's indeed a bit cool. As for the napalm bombs and cloudburst bombs, weapons that rely on explosive combustion as their main source of damage. For the demons, it's even less of a concern. It's not that these weapons are weak. It's mainly the demons' characteristics that make them immune to human thermal weapons. Kill. Destroy their metal machines first. A group of flight demons charged out of the bombing range. Under Nashiter's leadership, they immediately aimed their spears and demon tridents at General Ross's armored formation. The demons roared, wielding weapons such as demon steel forks and spears. They swooped down from the sky. Anti-aircraft guns. Shoot them down quickly. General Ross's anti-aircraft weapons began their attack. Unpatriotic missiles, Stryker anti-aircraft armored vehicles, Bradley infantry fighting vehicles. A series of armored vehicles roared into action. Even the soldiers on the outer defense line manned heavy machine guns. They started firing into the sky. Anti-aircraft guns, missiles, armor-piercing shells formed a dense barrage. Blocking the sky, making it impassable. Roar A. Break through from the periphery. Seeing that it was impossible to directly charge through from the air, Nastier roared in anger. With agile footwork, he dove downward. Avoiding the barrage of firepower, he charged straight into the first line of defense set up by General Ross. The other flight demons behind him followed suit. Fold your wings. Charge straight down like a sword. During the process, Some weaker demons were hit by anti-aircraft weapons and instantly turned into sieves, falling from the sky like birds with broken wings. Demons are immune to conventional ammunition. They are also immune to burning weapons with high temperatures as the main killing effect. But in the face of large-caliber depleted uranium armor-piercing rounds, or even laser weapons, ordinary demons really can't resist. Fortunately, the demons are not stupid. They know that if they continue to stay in the air, they will be treated as targets. So they all descended, landing on the first outer defense line set up by General Ross. Oh, damn it. Oh my god. The soldiers of the America Corps stationed at the outer defense line instantly became chaotic. In the fungus, there is a saying that has been circulating. First class Air Force, second class Navy, third class Army, fourth class Marines, and guarding the outermost perimeter are the third class Army and fourth class Marines. The only heavy weapons they have in their hands are the Browning M2 heavy machine guns that served in the last century. A 96-year-old machine gun, and some individual weapons such as rocket launchers and stingers. But after the demons got close, these weapons were either impossible to use or there was no time to use them at all. In the name of Satan, kill all these humans. Nastier took the lead. The demon trident in his hand pierced through the bodies of 2 Marines. A candy skewer was formed on the battlefield. Damn it, hurry up and move the heavy machine gun. Oh my god. Save us. The soldiers at the outer perimeter wanted to move the machine gun down for use. But the machine gun was fixed in place. In the chaos, there was simply no opportunity to dismantle it. Helplessly, the third-class and fourth-class soldiers could only use their lightweight weapons such as rifles and pistols that they carried with them. They launched an attack against the demons. Bang, bang, bang. Gunshots echoed around. The demons paid no attention. Damn it, we've been fooled, our weapons can't even harm these monsters. Damn it. Damn it. But these soldiers quickly realized that even if they used steel core or even tungsten core armor-piercing bullets in their rifles, they still couldn't riddle the demons with holes like General Ross said. On the contrary, with a burst of fire, at most, they could only leave shallow wounds on some demons. Not only could they not inflict fatal injuries, but they also angered these demons. Roar. You foolish invaders. A wounded demon was about to curse, foolish humans. Suddenly, it remembered that its leader was also human. So it quickly changed its words, to foolish invaders. Kill them all. Just as Nastier roared in anger. The ground demons, slowed down by the constant artillery fire, also charged out of the sea of fire. Their numbers were even greater. There were over 3,000 demons. Even though they suffered some losses in the artillery bombardment, their numbers were still astonishing. More importantly, compared to Nastier and the other flight demons, these ground demons, who couldn't fly, were more skilled in physical strength. They were stronger. Their bodies were larger. At first glance, it was like thousands of smaller hulks rushing over. General, the outer perimeter has collapsed. General Ross quickly received the first piece of bad news. His face turned extremely ugly. With the flight demons led by Nastier charging into the front lines, General Ross's early arrangements and commands instantly failed by more than half. Although human military technology has advanced, the strength of modern armies is also very powerful. But all of this is based on long-range sustained firepower output. Once the enemy breaks through, all the high-tech weapons become useless. During World War II, there was a saying, if the enemy charges into the trenches, what you should grab is not a gun, but the shovel next to you. The vulnerability of the human body is an inherent flaw that can never be avoided. General, we can't hold the outer defense line. What should we do? The general's staff anxiously asked. Yes. That's right. They have prepared many heavy weapons, many high-tech weapons. But now, the enemy has already charged forward and mixed in with their own people. They can't just throw those big killing machines at their own people's heads, right? General? Listening to the repeated shouts of his subordinates, General Ross suddenly snapped back to reality. Bring up the electromagnetic cannon we prepared for Hulk. And the sonic cannon, laser emitter. His subordinates were stunned, but our own people are still there. They sacrificed themselves for the fate of all mankind. General Ross roared angrily. I will apply to Capitol Hill. The fallen soldiers will receive the highest compensation. So soldiers, I order you to obey my command immediately. With General Ross's roar, one high-tech weapon after another was pushed out. To be precise, it was the armored vehicles carrying these high-tech weapons slowly moving up to the front lines. Sonic cannon, electromagnetic cannon, laser weapons. These were all weapons that General Ross had prepared to capture the Hulk. Now, the barrels were aimed forward. There were demons over there. And their own soldiers. Fire, With one command, electromagnetic cannons and laser weapons instantly traverse the battlefield. Following closely behind are soundwave weapons, bursting out in a fan-shaped spread. Ah! 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 The soldiers on the front line are hit by the soundwave weapons, each with a pained expression. In the next second, they explode one after another like balloons. Flesh and blood scatter all over the ground. It's not just human soldiers who are being attacked. Boom! 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 The electromagnetic projectiles, accelerated to several times the speed of sound, instantly penetrate the powerful bodies of the hellish demons. In the face of these purely kinetic weapons, the demons' heat-resistant body traits are rendered useless. Following closely behind are the lasers. With temperatures reaching tens of thousands of degrees, they exceed the defense limits of the demon bodies. For the first time, the demons suffer massive casualties. However, Nashidar quickly reacts. Don't worry about these humans. Follow me. First, destroy these chunks of iron. Nashtia quickly assembles a squad of demon suicide bombers. They charge towards General Rasa's high-tech weapons. But before they can reach him, boom! A dazzling blade of light traverses the battlefield and destroys all the high-tech weapons prepared by General Ross. It even splits the battlefield in half, creating a huge gap in the multi-layered defense lines set up by General Ross. Even the solid land of Lingbo Prison is torn open, revealing an abyss. Nashidar, your commanding ability is lacking. Shu Shu hovers in the air, wielding a flaming battle knife. As he speaks, the entire Lingbo Prison shakes violently. Countless demon soldiers surround them from all directions. Flight demons blot out the sky. The ground demons transform into a sea of red. In fact, Nashidar is only commanding a force of 5,000 demon recruits. Most of them are low-level demons just recruited. Rookies among rookies, and the number of demons in the thin prison, even though more than 20 million were slaughtered by Gila, there are still 2 or 3 million left. Casually, you can easily assemble a demon army of several million. And the fact is indeed so, General Ross, right? You're really lucky, catching us during our preparedness. Shu Shu hovered in the air, overlooking General Ross below. He sighed in his heart. This guy is really fortunate. Just in time before Gila and I were about to invade the realm of Lucifer. Millions of demon armies and countless undead warriors were ready for battle. And then General Ross arrived with his troops. Isn't it a coincidence? Since you're all here, leave your lives behind. Boys, 150,000 souls. First come, first served. Shu Shu gave the order. The millions of demons that surged from all directions were instantly energized as if they were injected with chicken blood. They howled and charged forward. If they ran too slowly, they would have loved to stab their companions next to them. Kill them. Plunder. Feeling the earth shaking and mountains trembling around them. General Ross's soldiers finally panicked. They're not stupid. No matter how General Ross brainwashed them beforehand, saying that this battle would be victorious, saying that the demons were just a dilapidated house that would collapse with a light kick. Now that it has come to this, they also understand. Things are not at all as General Ross said. Just 5,000 demons tore through their defense line, slaughtering their comrades like killing chickens and dogs. In the end, if they hadn't used their trump card, they wouldn't have even been able to hold off the 5,000 demons. And now, facing this earth-shattering scene, with millions of demons, countless demons that can't even be counted. At this moment, the elite soldiers of America finally understood the psychological state of the soldiers from the neighboring country with the white flag. And instantly understood what they needed to do. Run. Oh my God, I want to go back to Earth. I won't fight anymore, I can't. Run fast, the teleportation gate is just ahead. Halt. No retreating allowed, deserter, punishable by treason. Watching the soldiers around him throwing off their armor and running back. General Ross was extremely angry, but even if he executed the few deserters at the forefront, it couldn't change the fact that the troops were dispersing in anger. Bang, 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 General Ross angrily fired several shots. But the soldiers ignored him. Soldiers from every defensive line began discarding their armor and running back without regard for their lives. Some crew members of armored vehicles and transports even abandoned their vehicles. Everyone was rushing towards the massive portal. Why are you running? Soldiers from Earth were still constantly coming over. When they passed through the portal, in the instant they arrived at the spirit prison. They saw their comrades throwing off their armor and rushing towards them. Run. Don't look back. The newly arrived soldiers were confused. Soon, they were swept up by the fleeing crowd. People have a herd mentality. When one person runs, it's nothing, but when everyone around them starts running, nothing can stop it. Hey. In the air, Chu Shu quietly watched everything. He didn't stop these soldiers from fleeing, definitely. He also didn't plan to let these soldiers go. Run. Run to Earth if you want. Let more people see how you die. The best weapon in this world only needs to be used once. And this one use is Kaleda deterrence. Although Tony had done his best to persuade countries to cancel their war plans, Chu Shu didn't want this matter to end in vain. Words are useless. To make people dare not have any thoughts about you. The best way is to make them feel fear, I said. No. Retreat. On the ground. The soldiers' rout made General Rasa's anger grow stronger and stronger. His skin gradually turned red, similar to the color of the demons in the spirit prison. His body visibly swelled, as the former father-in-law of Dr. Banner. General Ross had obtained the Hulk's genes more than once. After multiple experiments and modifications, he also transformed himself into a member of the Hulk family, the Red Giant. Roar. Back off. Die. General Ross, completely transformed into the Red Giant, blocked the entrance of the portal. His ferocious face scanned every soldier present. The soldiers showed despair one after another. There was the Red Giant in front, and a demonic army of millions behind. Left and right. All directions meant death. General, we. A soldier stepped forward to persuade. Smack. The Red Giant waved his hand and directly turned him into pulp. Go back. Fight. The Red Giant was furious, his eyes bloodthirsty. The soldiers blocked by it could only pick up their guns in despair, lacking any will to fight, and face the demonic army. Soon. The sky was filled with an overwhelming number of flight demons rushing over. Like locusts passing through, they instantly slaughtered the scattered soldiers who hadn't evacuated from the outer defense lines. Warning. Warning. Black Hawks are falling. The armed helicopters in the sky were also torn into pieces by the demons, crashing down in thick smoke. Then, it was the turn of these soldiers who were driven back by General Ross. Already lacking the will to fight, they faced the densely packed flight demons like a swarm of locusts, completely in despair. Their resistance could be said to be futile. The battlefield completely turned into a one-sided massacre. Roar. The Red Giant, transformed, was soon targeted by the demons. Groups of flight demons pounced on him. You red-skinned monsters. Die for me. The Red Giant angrily began to fight the demons. It must be said, the fighting power of the Hulk family was still considerable. Especially when dealing with these ordinary hell demons, the cannon fodder. The Red Giant immediately demonstrated overwhelming combat power. With a punch or a kick, he could tear apart the incoming flight demons or smash them into pulp. Is this all you've got? Ha ha ha. The Red Giant kills with increasing pleasure. It's as if slaughtering these low-level demons can make up for his significant strategic mistake. But as he continues to kill, he looks up. The Red Giant sees Chu Shu's mocking gaze. No problem, you continue, I'll watch your performance. Hearing Chu Shu's words, the Red Giant's anger intensifies. It seems you are the leader of these red monsters. The Red Giant's gaze becomes bloodthirsty as he stares at Chu Shu. An idea pops into his mind. Capture the leader first. Well then, do you think it's possible that you yourself are also red? Chu Shu sees through General Ross's thoughts. One can't help but admire. This old man truly has commendable courage. Even Zhao Zilong would probably have to borrow some courage from him when playing the Changban slope instance. As expected. The next second, General Ross, now transformed into the Red Giant, directs his spearhead towards the hovering Forbidden Rest. As long as I kill you, I can turn the tide of the battle. General Ross, no, now we should call him the Red Giant. Its limited brain capacity prevents it from thinking about many things. Anger clouds its mind. Roar. A roar. The Red Giant leaps into the air. Its massive body, like a fired bullet, flies towards Chu Shu in the air. Its fist aims straight for Chu Shu's face. Ha! At this moment, Chu Shu's heart is filled with mixed emotions. He finds it difficult to imagine General Ross's current state of mind. What kind of judgment has led him to believe that dealing with himself is easier than dealing with millions of demons? He sighs. Chu Shu starts to move. Boom. Only the sound of a thunderous roar is heard. The leaping Red Giant is suddenly struck by force. Its upward momentum instantly disappears. Instead, it plummets downward. Chu Shu's speed was so fast that the Red Giant didn't see anything clearly. It only felt like its brain was hit by a speeding locomotive, instantly losing consciousness, and then its body went empty, plummeting rapidly towards the ground. Boom. The ground of the Lingbo prison was actually very hard, but the falling Red Giant still smashed a deep pit, with debris flying everywhere. Ah ah ah. The intense pain made the red giant's anger grow stronger and stronger. But it didn't have the same ability to increase strength infinitely with anger as the green giant. So it was just helplessly furious. I'm going to kill. The red giant got up and looked up, but it found that Chu Shu's figure was no longer in the air. What are you looking for, kid? Suddenly, Chu Shu's voice appeared below the red giant. The red giant was about to lower its head. Boom. It received a heavy blow to its lower abdomen. I'll jump up and punch your knee. Struck by Chu Shu's fist, the red giant's body arched like a shrimp and flew rapidly backwards, before it even landed. Chu Shu's figure instantly appeared. His right hand, like an eagle's claw, grabbed the red giant's head, pushing it, and they crashed through the limbo prison, causing a series of explosions. Boom boom. The ground cracked. Giant pieces of obsidian were shattered. A pool of magma was also cut in half, changing its flow. The red giant's body quickly became covered in wounds. It struggled frantically but couldn't break free from Chu Shu's grasp. This scene was very eerie. Chu Shu, with a normal human body size, held the red giant's head with one hand. Just like a baby holding Dwayne Johnson's head. And Dwayne Johnson couldn't break free. Ah ah ah. The red giant howled in pain. Chu Shu's hand formed an eagle claw shape, and his 5 fingers, like 5 diamond drills, pierced through its skull. That's right. Pure brute force. 5 finger holes were punched into the red giant's skull. Too bad you're not She-Hulk, otherwise I could sing a line now. Lift up your veil. After Chu Shu finished speaking, he forcefully lifted his right hand upwards. Crack. Just like prying open a coconut shell. The red giant's half of the skull was lifted open just like that. Lifted open by Chu Shu. Ah. The red giant with its skullcap lifted. The whole person instantly went limp, collapsing to the ground, unable to move anymore. But it's still not dead. The formidable vitality of the Hulk family allows it to take a few more breaths. But that's all. Without the protection of the skullcap. The brain of the red giant is exposed in the air. QQ bounce. Similar to oil-burst pig brain. Darling, I didn't expect you to be less ferocious than me. Hella's figure suddenly appeared beside Chu Shu. She glanced at the miserable state of the red giant. Couldn't help but frown. Wow. Indeed, he is the man of the goddess of death, even the means of killing are so gentle. Chu Shu ignored Hella's mockery. He has never held grudges. If there's a grudge, he settles it on the spot. Let me borrow the sword for a moment. Chu Shu took the night sky sword from Hella's hand. Turning around, he casually inserted it into the head of the red giant, stirring it left and right. The oil-burst pig brain turned into spicy oil mixed brain. Is Nagifa ready? Chu Shu returned the night sky sword to Hela. Definitely. Hela took the night sky sword, shaking it disdainfully, and finally threw it aside. With a flick of her wrist, a brand new night sky sword appeared. The battle on this side has also ended. Chu Shu looked towards the main battlefield. There were corpses everywhere. Tens of thousands of America's soldiers who came to Limbo Prison with General Ross have become the underlings of the demon army, their souls truly divided by the demons. Let's board the ship. We should go to Earth to show off. Chu Shu looked towards the portal gate. As the saying goes, riches and honor do not return home, like a night journey in brocade clothes. Hanging out outside. It's time to show off in my hometown. Earth. The area where the teleportation channel is located, the Gobi Desert, is in chaos. The soldiers who escaped from the teleportation gate quickly spread the situation inside. A sense of panic quickly spread in the military camp. I guess we're in trouble again, huh? Why did I say, Agan? Dr. Eric, who was brought by General Ross to open the teleportation gate, once again smelled something fishy. The last time he felt that something was off was when Loki invaded with the Chitauri. While no one is paying attention, let's get out of here quickly. Seeing the soldiers in chaos, no one noticed him. Dr. Eric made a quick decision and stole a jeep, speeding away. Meanwhile, the America army on the Gobi Desert. Without General Ross's command, they immediately fell into a state of disarray. Some suggested leading a team into the spirit prison to find and support General Ross, while others suggested an immediate retreat. In short, the situation was chaotic, and this scene was clearly seen by the reconnaissance satellites of various countries above. In modern times, such a large-scale military mobilization cannot be hidden from the eyes of other countries. Representatives of various countries immediately contacted America, questioning why they violated the agreement. Why did they launch a war despite agreeing to cancel the operation plan? The Pentagon gave a reply. I have no idea. The high-level officials of America were equally puzzled. They had clearly issued an order to General Ross to cancel the operation. But General Ross did not respond. Afterwards, the reconnaissance satellites of various countries captured the brave scene of America's elite troops invading the spirit prison. And then, it didn't take long. The reconnaissance satellites of various countries transmitted new images. America's elite troops were seen fleeing from the teleportation gate, crying for their parents and begging for mercy. Rabbit. Da Shang. Bai Qi. Why does this scene look familiar? In today's information age, any earth-shattering event that occurs on Earth is equivalent to a global live broadcast. War is no exception. In the Marvel world, no, not just Marvel, including the neighboring DC, or the entire world of American comics. Undoubtedly, the most powerful profession is the journalist. After learning the news of the fungal invasion of Lingbo prison, which was a shocking event, they immediately converged from all directions like sharks smelling blood. In order to obtain first-hand information, these super professionals displayed their skills, from helicopters and drones to crossing the Gobi Desert on foot, tearing open barbed wire with their bare hands, and crossing military blockades. The whole world knows about the heroic deeds of the fungus. The fearless warriors from the Lighthouse of Freedom are about to confront the evil demons in hell. They are fighting for all of humanity. The first headline of the newspaper was just released not long ago. The whole world saw the scene of the fungus escaping from the portal without armor. So the headline changed again. The evil demon who eats people has harmed our brave knights. We should be proud of them. But the new headline didn't last long. Soon, a scene that made the whole world silent appeared. The news headline also changed accordingly. The warship of the evil demon king from hell has landed in Montana. Montana, a small town that is hundreds of kilometers away from the portal on the Gobi Desert. Stray dogs suddenly barked for no reason. Mice, who are usually afraid of people, suddenly flooded the streets. Flocks of birds fell from the sky, as if there was something that made them afraid to soar. Weird. Why is it suddenly so cold? A resident walking on the street suddenly hugged himself. He shivered. The breath that came out of his mouth turned into white mist. Turning his head, the display cases of the shops were already covered in frost. It's strange, why is it so cold in the middle of summer? Along with the confusion of the townspeople, the sky began to snow heavily. The snowfall became heavier and heavier. A white veil covered the Gobi Desert. The soldiers near the portal had long stopped their quarrels and verbal battles. They also noticed the sudden change in the weather. Snow in July. Is this the story of Doi? Do, my foot. This is America, don't you forget. Oh my God, what? What is going on here? The soldiers looked up at the snow falling from the sky. But there were also wise individuals who realized the danger. Quick, seal the portal. We can't let those monsters from Hell's 500 escape. A colonel began organizing manpower to establish a quarantine zone centered around the portal gate. They were unsure of what awaited them on the other side of the portal. They also didn't know if General Ross was still alive. They had sent people to investigate before, but no one had ever come back alive. General Ross is not here, so I am the highest ranking officer. Everyone, listen to my command. Units, disperse. Keep your distance from the portal. Don't listen to what those deserters say. Remember, you are the elite warriors of America. We are invincible, nothing can defeat us, even demons. With the guidance of this colonel, the soldiers of America, who had recently been without a leader, finally had the opportunity to showcase their elite qualities. They quickly established layers of defense zones centered around the portal gate. Except for the soldiers who had fled, the barrels of their guns and the cannons of their tanks were aimed at the unclosable portal gate. Units, pay attention. If you spot any hellish creatures coming through the portal, open fire immediately. Also, make sure to find Dr. Eric and close the portal. The colonel commanded with a serious expression. But suddenly, a soldier beside him dropped his rifle. What are you doing? Pick up your gun, soldier. The colonel was about to get angry, but he saw the soldier looking at the sky in fear, his finger trembling. A ship. There's a ship. Ship? Upon hearing the soldier's words, the colonel looked up. In an instant, he was also stunned. In the sky, where the snowflakes were floating, there was a hazy grayness. The heavy clouds suddenly parted, and an ancient pale giant ship slowly descended. No one knew why a sailboat powered by sails could fly in the sky. Compared to this, what the soldiers were more concerned about was, why is this ship so big? That's right. It was too big. It was as massive as if it covered the sky. The shield helicarrier looked like a small boat in front of it. Is that a war drum? The colonel heard some rumbling sounds coming from the giant ship. The sound shook people's hearts, making them feel uneasy. A feeling called death gradually enveloped everyone below. It pressed down on them, making it hard for them to breathe. There are people on the ship. No, that's not a person. Oh my god, they are demons and lost souls. As the height of Nagifa lowered, the soldiers finally saw the scene on the pale ship. They were densely packed with undead warriors and soul warriors. And the most powerful demons from the thin prison of souls. They were elite warriors carefully selected. Originally, their mission was to invade Lucifer's hell with Hela. But now, these America soldiers were lucky. With Hela's command, the Soul Castle warriors were the first to leap from Nagifa's deck. Wielding Asgard blades, they pounced on these shocked and unprepared America soldiers. Enemy attack. Quick, turn the cannons. Aim at the sky. Hurry, the lieutenant colonel shouted frantically. But because he had been focusing on the portal gate before, all defensive preparations, every machine gun, every cannon, every tank, were aimed at the portal gate. As a result, when faced with the Soul Warriors descending from the sky, they were completely unprepared. The Soul Warriors landed. These Asgardian spirits, with physical abilities several times that of humans, instantly began a ruthless massacre, like a tiger among sheep. Open fire. Don't let them get close. Oh god, they're invincible. The soldiers of America frantically fired. But the bullets couldn't penetrate the Asgardian armor of the Soul Warriors. And even if they did penetrate, they hit the walking corpses of the spirits. These Soul Warriors were already dead. Conventional physical damage couldn't kill them again. Unless the soldiers of America had the ability to completely destroy and crush the bodies of these Soul Warriors. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it. Damn it. Oh God, Jesus, forgive us, soon. To be precise, it was just a confrontation. The nearly 100,000 soldiers of America outside the portal gate fell into chaos. They finally understood why those deserters who escaped from the spirit prison were so terrified one by one. But it wasn't over yet. As the Soul Warriors launched their attack, the carefully selected elite demons, unwilling to fall behind, jumped down from Nogfar. Then, the spirits of the dead brought by Hela from the underworld also joined the battle, joined the slaughter. Retreat. Retreat quickly, the lieutenant colonel shouted hysterically. But what awaited him was a flying demon trident. Pissed. The trident pierced the lieutenant colonel's throat, nailing him to the ground. Next, a flight demon descended, wielding a steel fork and claiming a soul at the same time. In the name of Satan, kill. The slaughter continued. Amelika's soldiers no longer needed to distinguish between different ranks of people. Because whether they were the elite 101 airborne or the Navy Marines jokingly referred to as the fourth rank, they were all caught in a one-sided massacre. And this shocking scene also reached the eyes of people around the world through the reconnaissance satellites in the sky and those super professionals who seemed like spies. For a moment, the whole world fell silent. The New York Daily, which previously published Evil Hell Demon Lands in Montana, quietly changed the headline in the midst of the silence to The Just Warriors from Hell, Defeating the Evil Lighthouse Soldiers. The Hexagon Building. Amelika's upper echelons of elites. At this moment, they were all immersed in a long silence. Because the battlefield was on their own soil, they could see a clearer picture of the battlefield through reconnaissance drones. But sometimes, seeing too clearly is not necessarily a good thing. 150,000 people, 150,000 elite Amelican soldiers. They could already imagine the uproar that would be caused when the public learned of this number. Should we seek revenge for these 150,000 people? A white elite began to speak. What he wanted to ask was, shouldn't we seek revenge for these 150,000 people? Launch a full-scale war against the thin prison? But he didn't finish his sentence. Instead, he was met with the unanimous gaze of his colleagues around him, as if they were looking at a fool. First of all, the thin prison has always been a friendly partner of Emilitsa for a long time. Secondly, we need to quickly issue a statement to the outside world, indicating that we have clearly ordered the cancellation of the combat mission. This conflict was entirely the personal actions of Sedu's Ross. He will bear full responsibility for this mistake. The elites of America, in their words, have already stripped General Ross of his rank. They all call him by his full name in unison. As for revenge? What revenge? We have no grudge against Limbo Prison. All those soldiers who died, it's all General Ross's fault. What does it have to do with Limbo Prison? They were acting in self-defense. We express our support for Limbo Prison's legitimate self-defense in our statement to the outside world. And we are willing to fully fund Limbo Prison's expedition. Isn't this too weak? We are, after all, the beacon of the world. Shouldn't we change the wording a bit to make it sound a bit tougher? Who hired such a stupid spokesperson? You're fired. Hey, you, come and be the new spokesperson. Don't change a single word in that statement. Soon enough. America's statement spread throughout the world. Just when everyone thought that this humiliating statement would provoke the anger of the American people. An unexpected scene unfolded. The bugs in the Pentagon have finally done something right. Not wrong at all. Haven't they learned their lesson from the Second Battle of New York? The demons were fine in hell, why provoke them? I heard that the Demon King of Hell has been replaced, and now a human has become the Demon King. Then we really shouldn't provoke them. On the internet. The American people of America. For the first time, they expressed their approval of the Pentagon's decision. At the same time, the new headline of the New York Daily was also published on the front page. The headline read, "The Great Demon King has arrived in his loyal American realm. Lingbo Prison has always been a friendly partner to our Baiki people. Vatican City announced that it will soon modify and revise the documents in the Bible that stigmatize demons. Take down all movies and TV shows that portray demons as villains. Hollywood announced that it will soon produce a series of new films about demons, including This Demon Is Not Cold, Redemption of the Demon, The True Story of the Demon, and When the Demon Knocks on the Door. The Cosmic Kingdom claims that the new demon lord should be from their country." One piece of news after another spread around the world. People were awakened, as if they had entered another world. Yesterday, they were still shouting and killing, considering demons as enemies. Suddenly, it turned into another extreme. The most surprised by this were the demons who unexpectedly arrived on Earth. They were all scared, timid and cautious. They didn't dare to harm people, afraid of angering the Lord. Helplessly, these low-level demons had to hide from humans, in the wilderness, forests, and even in the sewers. But now, everything has changed. Wow. There's a demon here. Take a picture quickly. Why take a picture? It must have also been trapped on Earth, how pitiful. Yes, we should send it back home. Cindy, hiding in the sewer, looked at the humans who found her with a shocked expression. Although she was the weakest low-level demon, number 617, in Lingbo Prison, she didn't expect to be called pitiful by humans, right? Roar. Cindy roared, trying to scare away the humans. At first, the young humans were indeed startled. But then, wow, so cool. Did you just take a picture of it? Post it on Instagram, it will definitely go viral. Listening to a conversation among several humans. The confusion in Cindy's eyes grew stronger. You are a demon from the thin prison, right? Follow me, I'll take you to the designated dimensional portal. Very soon. Local officials arrived at the scene. They led the puzzled Cindy out of the sewer. The same scene also appeared in various parts of the world. The demons that accidentally arrived on Earth were all found and sent to the vicinity of stable spatial portals, allowing them to return to the thin prison. Hey, you know what? These humans are actually quite good. Yeah, they even took a photo with me. I won't buy human souls anymore in the future. No trade, no harm. Yeah, I'll only buy animal souls from now on. The demons returned to the thin prison. They told their miraculous experiences to their companions in hell. But soon, they learned the truth from their companions. You were able to come back alive not because humans are good, but because Lord Satan took that undead ship to Earth. Meanwhile, on the pale ship, Nigelva. At this moment, above the White House in Amelika's mansion, Washington, D.C. Frost covered the surroundings, and heavy snowflakes fell from the sky. The bone-chilling cold made the elites in the White House shiver and their teeth chatter. But no one dared to complain. I'm really not a bad person, really. Since I was young, I've been educated to study hard, strive for progress, and be a good person. You can't just treat me as a bad person, as a villain, just because I'm the Demon King of Hell. Isn't that right? Chu Shu sat in the seat of the federal commander. He picked up a cigar from the table. Yes, 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 you definitely are not a bad person. We have already investigated the real bad person, seduce Ross. Seeing Chu Shu pick up the cigar, the current federal commander immediately took out a lighter. A face full of flattery ignited for Chu Shu. You can rest assured that this villain will receive the punishment he deserves. He's already dead. Chu Shu took a puff of his cigar. Almost choked. So he threw it aside with a backhand. Even in death, he should be despised. We will never tolerate such a person who destroys the relationship between the two clans. Chu Shu listened to these elites distancing themselves from responsibility. Nodded without expressing agreement or disagreement. To tell the truth, Chu Shu didn't like these hypocritical guys. Compared to them, General Ross seemed sincere. Although General Ross sacrificed tens of thousands of troops for his own selfish desires. But at least he had commendable courage. Well, that's it. I don't feel like listening to your nonsense anymore. Remember, don't bother me in the future. Chu Shu waved his hand. His figure disappeared instantly from the spot. Did he leave? It seems so. The big ship outside is also gone. Confirming that the pale ship in the sky had disappeared without a trace. The elites in the white building breathed a sigh of relief. One by one, they collapsed on the ground as if they had just walked through the gates of hell, completely exhausted. Their foreheads were covered in cold sweat. Spread the word, no one is allowed to provoke him in the future. After the federal commander finished speaking, he also slumped down all at once. However, Shu, who had just put on a big show in front of the whole world, at this moment, felt a little embarrassed. Have you forgotten the responsibilities of counterparts, kid? To prevent the invasion of dimensional forces on Earth. A spiritual duplication of the Ancient One found Shu. She herself is still at counterparts, guiding Strange in learning magic. And yet, you reverse the protection of Earth, huh? The Ancient One found Shu expressed dissatisfaction with this massive invasion. Boss, is there a possibility that the dark dimension has already merged with the world? It's no longer considered a dimensional force? Shu touched his nose and argued cunningly. The Ancient One suddenly fell silent. Because what this kid said was indeed reasonable. Let it go this time, but don't act so impulsively next time. To save face, the Ancient One used Asgard as an example. Asgard is also not a dimensional force, but if Odin dares to invade Earth, I'll definitely beat him up. Yes, you're amazing. Seeing Shu's expression of disbelief, the Ancient One knew that she had come in vain again. This kid probably didn't take his words seriously. The Ancient One's spiritual duplication said angrily before disappearing on the spot. On the other side, at the training square of counterparts, the real Ancient One opened her eyes and watched as Strange continued to draw circles over and over again on the square. He couldn't even learn a basic teleportation spell after so long, which made her even more angry. Mordo, throw him up to Mount Everest for me. When he learns the teleportation spell, he can come back. After leaving the capital, the turmoil caused by the integration of the spirit prison in the main world has finally come to an end. Whether it is humans who accidentally entered the spirit prison or demons who accidentally came to Earth, they have been properly dealt with. And as the integration progress of the two worlds enters its final stages, the randomly appearing dimensional channels have also decreased significantly, and the space has stabilized once again. What a waste of time. Inside the holy place in New York, Shu shook his head and walked towards the any door. If it weren't for a phone call from Tony Stark, he would probably have completed a demonic summoning by now. I now possess the demonic power of the spirit prison, the hell energy of the flame hell, the shadow energy of the shadow dimension, and the morning star power of DC Lucifer. Wait. 600th world. Shu suddenly stopped in his tracks. Realizing a very serious matter. Previously, when the Ancient One mentioned the integration of dimensions, he didn't pay much attention. After all, it was just speculation at that time. But now that the spirit prison has already integrated with the main world, Shu has to consider which dimension might integrate with the main world next. And according to the Ancient One's words, the prerequisite for dimension integration is that one must possess the power of that dimension. And Shu currently possesses 4 types of power. The first 3 types. They are all powers within the Marvel Universe, but they exist in different dimensions. But the 4th type. Damn, I won't just because of this power of the Morning Star. Finally merging the DC Universe and the Marvel Universe. Shu dare not imagine what that would look like. Batman vs Iron Man, Darkseid vs Thanos. And this conjecture can also be extended to a conspiracy theory. That is, could Lucifer Morningstar's bestowal of power be because he had already anticipated this scene? Shu fell silent, and then, he slowly picked up the milk tea on the table, gulping it down, feeling the dopamine of happiness that came from drinking sweet milk tea. Shu finally came to a conclusion: it doesn't matter. When the sky falls, there will be tall people to hold it up. And integrating 2 dimensions is not that easy. Shu shook his head. The reason why the spirit prison integrated with the main world is because he became the Lord of Hell and absorbed enough demonic power. Based on this, if you want the DC Universe and the Marvel Universe to integrate, I estimate that I would have to swallow half of the energy of the DC Universe. The more Shu thought about it, the more absurd it seemed. If it really came to this point, even if integration happened, it wouldn't be a big deal. DC's God, Marvel's OAA, they would probably have to line up to hand me cigarettes. Take it step by step. I can't give up the path to becoming stronger just because of a little risk. Shu decided to continue summoning. It's just a small matter. Just integrating dimensions. I can't give up the path to becoming stronger just because of this little risk. Through the anywhere doors in the holy place, Shu Shu teleported to the summoning location designated by the Ancient One, Mount Makalu. Once again stepping onto the peak of this snowy mountain. The remnants of the scorched marks left by Shu Shu when he summoned the demons of hell still remained around. I really miss those times, Shu Shu couldn't help but sigh. Back then, demons were so easy to deceive, unlike now. Whether it's Mephisto's hell, Lucifer's hell, or Hades' hell that I haven't visited yet. Just find a demon and ask if they know the names Chu Shu or Modu. They will all answer in unison. Deceiver demons, I know them well. Sometimes having a famous reputation isn't a good thing, Chu Shu said, taking out the piece of parchment given by the Ancient One. It was covered in pictographic characters. Chu Shu still couldn't understand them. But it didn't matter. I summoned the 11 sets of dimensions recorded on this parchment. To avoid summoning the wrong one, he specifically called for the quags recorded on this paper. With the title of the Heavenly Constitution, activate. Almost in an instant, the space around Mount Makalu trembled. At the same time, the Ancient One in Kamar Taj suddenly turned her head and looked towards Mount Makalu. Elder, what happened? Asked Strange, his face covered in frostbite. At this moment, he had already learned teleportation magic and returned from the freezing cold Mount Everest to Kamar Taj. After learning his first magic in life, Strange felt like he had opened the door to a new world. Before, he was just talking, but now, he truly had a strong interest in magic. I want to learn magic. I want to become stronger. Only by becoming stronger can I help Satan, can I help Chu Shu. And only by becoming stronger can I seek revenge against Caecilius. Strange didn't know that the Caecilius he mentioned in the Lord Satan he wanted to repay were actually the same person. In any case, he was now diligently studying magic for these two purposes. It's nothing, continue practicing. The Ancient One shook her head. Simply replied to Strange. Meanwhile, Mount Makalu. When Chu Shu pronounced Quag's real name again. Just like last time, the space trembled, and then the surrounding world distorted. At the top of the snowy mountain, countless twisted and bizarre tentacles seemed to appear. Those tentacles, some as thick as a train, others as slender as a baby's finger. Interweaving and crisscrossing, it was enough to drive a person insane. Could this be the Cthulhu deity? Chu Shu's expression became serious. Looking around as if facing a formidable enemy. In his pocket, dozens of exorcism cards were ready to be used. When I banished the first demon from hell, I received an achievement reward from the system. The second achievement reward was obtained when banishing the dimensional demon, Shadow Devil. According to this pattern, the third achievement reward should be banishing the dimensional lord. Chu Shu was both excited and thrilled. Whether he could obtain Quag's power through this summoning was not important. The system's achievement reward was the good stuff. A sacred soul, a title of heavenly constitution. They had brought great help to Chu Shu. I wonder what the third achievement reward will be. Chu Shu looked around solemnly. Those twisted tentacles had already climbed up Mount Makalu. Some of the extending tentacles even obscured the sky, covering the clouds above. In any case, when Chu Shu looked around, it was already difficult to see anything from the real world. Those bizarre and twisted tentacles formed their own realm. The next second, buzz, an ancient bronze gate, suddenly appeared in front of Chu Shu.